You've probably heard of Ikigai, right? That popular Japanese concept that's supposed to be the key to a long, happy, and meaningful life. But what if the version we've all been sold isn't the real story at all? Let's get into it. For most of us, this is Ikigai. I'm sure you've seen this diagram everywhere. It's this really neat, satisfying Venn diagram with 4 overlapping circles. And the idea seems so simple, right? Just find that one single sweet spot where what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for all come together. And bam, you've found it. Your life's purpose, your Ikigai. It's like a perfect little formula for your career and your happiness all rolled into one. But what if I told you that this entire diagram, the very thing that shaped how the Western world sees Ikigai, is just wrong? What if the actual people in Japan who live and breathe this philosophy wouldn't even recognize this chart? So get this slide pretty much spills the beans. That famous diagram, it wasn't even created in Japan. It actually started out in 2012 as something called a purpose Venn diagram, made by a Spanish consultant named Andres Zuzunaga. It was only later that a blogger mashed it up with a TED talk about long life in Okinawa, and poof, the viral, westernized version of Ikigai we all know was born. And this really gets to the heart of it all. The huge difference in philosophy. You can see it laid out pretty clearly here. On the left, you've got the Western model. It's all about this big quest for a single grand purpose, and it's almost always tied to your career and making money. But the real, authentic Japanese concept on the right, it's so much broader. It's simply a reason for living. It's that feeling that your life is worth living, something you can find in the small joys of every day, and just feeling useful to the people around you. To really, truly understand this, we have to go right to the source. So let's take a trip to Okinawa, Japan, one of the world's blue zones, places where people live these incredibly long, healthy, and happy lives. This quote actually comes from a song, sung by a woman in Ogimi, a village that has the highest life expectancy on the planet. And just listen to what she focuses on: simple daily rituals and enjoying the journey. There's nothing in there about a grand career ambition. This, right here, is Ikigai in its natural habitat. A huge piece of the Okinawan philosophy is this principle called hara hachibu. It basically means eating only until you're about 80% full, and the impact is just staggering. As you can see, Okinawans take in somewhere between 1,800 and 1,900 calories a day. Compare that to the average American. It's a huge difference, and studies have actually linked this kind of caloric restraint to slower aging and a longer life. Their diet is also incredibly simple, but so powerful. It's packed with things that are rich in antioxidants, like vegetables, tofu, and sweet potatoes. And here's a really clever trick they use. They serve meals on lots of small plates. This kind of tricks your brain into feeling like you're eating a big feast, even when the portions are actually pretty modest. And this might be the most important part of all, the moai. This isn't just, a social club you join. It is a lifelong commitment. A moai is a group of friends who are there for each other through thick and thin. We're talking emotionally, financially, socially. It's this incredible built-in community that makes sure no one ever has to feel like they're going through life alone. Okay, so on to our second pillar, the power of flow. A huge part of living your Ikigai is finding that state, that zone, where you are so completely absorbed in what you're doing that you totally lose track of time. It's not really about being productive. It's about being completely 100% present. So how do you get into that state? Well, this slide breaks it down. Flow tends to happen when you know what you're doing and you have the skills for it, but the task is just challenging enough to keep you on your toes. You need to have a clear idea of how you're doing, and this is absolutely crucial. You need to be free from distractions. I think the greatest examples of flow are the Japanese takumi, the master artisans. Think about someone like sushi master Jiro, who's dedicated his entire life to perfecting one single craft, or the animator Hayao Miyazaki, who still insists on drawing everything by hand. They aren't just punching a clock. They are so deep in the process that their work becomes a kind of meditation. And you know what the biggest enemy of flow is? Multitasking. We all think we're being super efficient, but our brains literally cannot do 2 complex things at once. What we're actually doing is just switching our focus back and forth really, really fast. And every single one of those switches costs us precious mental energy and yanks us out of that deep state of concentration. And the science totally backs this up. In one study, which you can see visualized here, people had to count red arrows while ignoring blue ones. As the chart shows, the single taskers, no problem. Their distraction levels were super low. But the multitaskers really struggled. Their brains were so trained to notice everything that they just couldn't ignore the irrelevant blue arrows, and it totally shattered their focus.
Of course, a happy life isn't just about what you eat or how you focus. It's also about how you handle it when things go wrong, and that is where resilience comes in.
This Japanese proverb just captures the idea of resilience so perfectly. Fall 7 times, rise 8. It's not about avoiding failure or never falling down. It's about having the strength to get back up one more time than you fall. It's this deep acceptance that struggle is just part of the journey. A really powerful tool for building that resilience is the concept of wabi-sabi. So instead of always chasing perfection, wabi-sabi teaches us to find beauty in things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. Embracing that mindset helps us accept ourselves and the world just as we are, flaws and all. And honestly, that is incredibly liberating. You know, this idea isn't just found in Japan. Thousands of years ago, the ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus said pretty much the same thing. It's a universal truth. We can't always control the things that happen to us, but we can always control how we respond. And that, right there, is the true source of our power and our resilience. Okay, so let's put this all together. What does it actually mean to find your Ikigai? Well, it's not some treasure hunt for one perfect job. It's really about how you live day by day.
The people of Okinawa really show us the way. Their lessons are so beautifully simple. Stay active, but do it gently. Eat well, but not too much. Really nurture your friendships. Live in the here and now. And most importantly, find your reason for getting up in the morning. It doesn't matter if it's some grand project or just tending to your garden.
And I think ultimately, the real secret of Ikigai is that there is no secret formula. You don't find it like it's a lost set of keys. You build it day by day. The search itself is kind of the whole point. So the advice from the world's wisest elders is to just stop worrying so much about it and simply follow your curiosity. Just keep busy with things that make you happy. Which brings us right to our final thought. The real journey to Ikigai doesn't start with some big plan or a complicated Venn diagram. It starts right here, right now, in this moment. So I'll just leave you with this question to think about. What small thing brings you joy today?